This new series of movies has taken the horror genre by storm. Someone argued that these movies are a little too niche for Universal Studios, but I think it would be a wasted opportunity not to include it this year. Terrifier.
I'd be really excited to see it at Horror Nights.
But I didn't think that was ever gonna happen because it is more of like a smaller budget horror movie that's not necessarily theme park friendly.
But I just really want Art the Clown to show up in Horror Nights in some shape or form.
The director of the movies actually has expressed interest in making a haunted house based on the movies.
If I was Universal Studios, and I love cash, which we know they do, I would immediately bring Terrifier to the event.
John Murdy, if you're watching this right now, please include Art the Clown in the event. Thank you.
It's about damn time. It's about damn time.
Hello everyone, Find Me Nile here. Well, it's been a while since I've done one of these like short, quick update videos for Horror Nights. So yeah, this is kind of long overdue since we already had like 2 houses announced, and I have a feeling that the next house is going to be announced like pretty shortly. So yeah, let's just jump straight into the updates, see what's new. So in case y'all haven't heard, which most likely you probably have, Terrifier is finally coming to Halloween Horror Nights. Terrifier was one of the earliest rumors for this year, and it has finally been confirmed that it was coming in both Universal Parks in Hollywood and Orlando, and it is set to be based on all 3 of the movies. It is set to be one of, if not the goriest house in all of Horror Nights history in both parks, which is pretty exciting. I know all the hype surrounding this is from like all the gore that we're probably going to see, and probably all the smells too, and also the water effects. So let's just jump straight into all of that. Now, I can't speak too much for Orlando since I do attend the Hollywood event, but I will bring up some Orlando updates as well, since they sound pretty exciting as well. So it was shared that the house in Orlando, in the end, they're going to have either like a dry path or a wet path. Yeah, that just goes to show how much water effects they're going to incorporate in their house. That they have 2 separate paths. One of them, I'm assuming, is just filled with water effects because of how bloody this house is. So yeah, that sounds really exciting. I'm not sure if Hollywood is going to go in that direction, which I highly doubt, because very rarely will Hollywood houses do anything like with their endings, like change it up or like have 2 different endings. Very rarely do they do that. But that, nonetheless, like what they have in Orlando sounds really exciting. I can't wait to see what they cook up. So with all that said, let's dig into the details for our Hollywood house. So like we've all speculated, Terrifier will be located in the H lot, right next to the rumored Poltergeist house. And already the facade is making great progress. And I think as of this recording, the facade looks like nearly done. And the facade is basically the fun house that you see in that quick shot in Terrifier 2. And it's like, yeah, like if you're gonna make a facade based on a Terrifier haunted house, like of course you have to include like that. Like that's just a missed opportunity not to have that fun house as the facade. Now, when Terrifier was first rumored, I had some concerns concerning like, you know, like the tone of the house. Simply because like the reason what makes Terrifier so popular is because of like the extreme gore in all 3 of the movies. And I always thought to myself, like, how is a franchise that's known for its like infamous, like iconic, like just brutal, gory scenes, how is that going to fit as a theme park attraction? Because, and some of you guys don't know, Halloween Horror Nights has had a long history of like censoring stuff, whether it be like a scene that's like apparently just a little just too shocking for guests, they had to like take down entirely. A whole shows and attractions have been taken down because of people complaining. Universal has had a long history of like censoring like things that just might be just a little too risque. So I thought, like, how are they going to bring Terrifier into that kind of environment? But apparently both creative teams in Hollywood and Orlando are promising that they're not going to tone anything down, that both houses are going to be an absolute gore fest. They're not holding back any punches. They are not holding back like at all. And that to me is kind of promising, but part of me still kind of wonders, like, yeah, they might say like they're not holding back on any of the scenes they're going to feature, but what scenes are they going to feature in both houses? It's like, oh yeah, we're not holding back this scene and it's just a beheading. Like, are they going to feature the chainsaw scene? If you've seen the movie, you know. And speaking of the gore, here's a little fun fact about this house in particular. So the traditional makeup effects team, McGee Effects, is going to be in charge of like the makeup here in this house. But they're actually also going to be working with the makeup artist who actually worked on the last Terrifier film, which is actually pretty exciting. You know, somebody that was actually on set and seeing the actual like special effects up close, giving the other makeup effects crew like an insight of like what it's like. That's honestly really cool, and I hope that makes for like some accurate looking like violent scenes from the movie. Now in Universal Hollywood, John Murdy loves to incorporate little like vignettes or with like scare actors and a couple of the facades for the houses, whether it be like like Texas Chainsaw or The Weeknd from last year, Killer Clowns and The Last of Us, just to name a few. And Terrifier is set to be one of those houses. On top of having the funhouse being the actual facade, it has been heavily implied that it's going to take a performer, actually more than one performer, to act out something in front of the facade. So that sounds really exciting. I can't wait to see how that plays out. And after every announcement, fans on Twitter will like to leave comments on John Murray's tweets, asking questions about like some more details about the house. And one person asked how they're gonna bring Art the Clown to life, whether it be like masks or makeup. And John Murray replied with both, which is actually pretty interesting. I wonder what the balance is for like makeup arts and then like mask arts. I have a theory that I'm assuming there's gonna be an Art the Clown performer in front of the facade, and I feel like that guy is gonna be in makeup. And maybe we'll see a couple other people in makeup here and there throughout the maze, but every time there will be like a jump scare, like the trigger scare with like the flashing lights and sound effects and everything, I feel like those characters are gonna have the masks. Because like you really don't have like that much time to like emote while you're jump scaring people, which would make sense. And it would also make sense why some of the characters would wear makeup instead, because if you guys have seen the Terrifier movies, one of the most like iconic traits of Art the Clown is just like his body language and how like he moves and like contorts his body and also his face as well. He likes to emote a lot because he doesn't say a single word. He uses body language and like facial expressions. And of course, if you're gonna make a maze based on a slasher franchise, you can't have a slasher film without a final girl. So, somebody else asked in the comments, will Sienna appear in the house? John Mayer replied with, the final girl. You might see her. And I'm theorizing that either she's going to be in the facade with Art the Clown, or she's going to come out like near the end, like as soon as like right before like Art the Clown is like we're at his grass, like she comes off and like saves us from like Art, which would be pretty cool. And the last two things I want to mention about Terrifier are the water effects and the smells. Now, some of you who haven't like seen any of the movies are probably like, "What's the Terrifier maze gonna smell like?" Well, we can assume it's probably gonna smell like dead bodies or like rotting corpses and bloody guts everywhere. But one thing that Art the Clown loves to do in a couple of his movies is that he likes to write on the wall with some fecal matter. Like he loves to like do like his name is Art the Clown, so he likes to do like little art on the walls. Like he likes to do writings on the walls, and most of the time it's with blood. Sometimes it's with like brain matter, and of course he likes to smear poop. So yeah, every time they feature like a weird poops room or like a weird like bathroom room, Horror Nights has got you covered, and they're gonna pump that scent in the air. Because not only do they like to immerse you with the visuals, but also with like the scents as well. Now I know there's a lot of people that are not looking forward to that, and I completely understand. But I mean, hey, it's not a real, true, authentic Terrifier experience without at least some way to gross you out, right? Finally, the water effects. One thing that Horror Nights houses and from all over the world love to do is have like really cool like water effects. Replicating like blood spurting out of victims and stuff. And since one of the Terrifier franchise's trademarks is just like people being mutilated and like blood and guts flying everywhere, of course you're going to have a bunch of water effects in this house. The creative teams in both parks are actually even advocating guests to bring a poncho while experiencing both houses because it has that many water effects. So yeah, Terrifier finally confirmed for Horror Nights this year. Now I know the intro of this video made you guys to believe that I'm like a huge fan of the franchise, but honestly I'm just more of like a casual fan. Like the first movie is just okay to me. Terrifier 2 I heard was the best one, but I was kind of let down by it for like a number of reasons. But it wasn't until Terrifier 3 where I'm like, okay, I'm on board with this character and I'm on board to see like what happens next. Still not perfect, but like, I am looking forward to like the next one whenever that comes out. But the reason why I've been advocating for Art the Clown to show up in Horror Nights for so long, like ever since the second movie came out, is because I know it would do great things for the Halloween Horror Nights event. The Terrifier franchise has such a rabid fan base, and like it's a very smart creative decision on like Universal's part to like bring that whole fan base to like Horror Nights, because like basically that's what the Terrifier movies are in general, just like glorified cinematic like Halloween Horror Nights experiences. filled with gross out moments and over the top like spectacle like set pieces and stuff. And because of all that, that is why Terrifier so far is probably like one of the houses that I'm more excited for compared to the other ones. Will the Terrifier house be as gory as like the creative team is advertising it to be? Looks like we're not gonna find out until opening night. Also in Hollywood, another maze has been announced, and it is Scarecrow. Yes, Scarecrow has finally been confirmed after seeing that facade, which is obviously not Scarecrow. Apparently it is Scarecrow. Sarcasm, by the way. Yeah, everyone thought it was going to be a direct repeat, but there is something different. This time around, the Scarecrow soundtrack, the Maze audio, is going to be recorded and made and produced by Slash. Now, when I first heard about this, I thought, like, Slash? For Scarecrow? In case some of you weren't able to experience Scarecrow from 2022, it was basically set on, like, the 1920s, like, Dust Bowl, Midwest, like era. So like I'm puzzled and like I'm like trying to think like how is Slash and like his little electric guitar riffs, how is that gonna fit with the Scarecrow aesthetic? Yeah, I and many other fans are wondering that. So we were also thinking that like maybe because of Slash's involvement with this maze this time around, that they might change some things up. Maybe like just give the maze like a whole new energy or vibe. Maybe give it some more, like a different color scheme, or make the characters look a bit more gnarly. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm just really hoping that it's not a direct repeat. I'm just hoping it's not a direct repeat. I know there's a lot of people that love to revisit fan favorites, but for me personally, I don't care very much for direct repeats. Simply because like if I'm walking through the like same exact layout and I know where all the scares are coming from, I already know what set pieces I'm gonna be like met with, like it ends up being a very boring experience for me because it's very predictable. But hopefully with Slash's involvement, maybe it'll be somewhat different. I don't know. Again, we're just gonna have to wait and see until opening night. Scarecrow is confirmed to be in the T-Pad where Holidays in Hell and Texas Chainsaw were previously, which is where like you go right to like the Transformers and then go down like that little slope and then like just go in the backstage area and then like you'll find Scarecrow. And staying on the subject of the lower lot, we actually have a little bit of details regarding the little Jurassic Cove bar that's like on top of the Jurassic Cafe. Last year it was themed to the Weekend, and then I believe the year before that it was themed to the Stellar Bar from Stranger Things. And we finally had details for this year's Jurassic Cove bar. And honestly, I thought it was gonna be at first I thought it was gonna be Scarecrow themed, but it turns out it's actually going to be Slash themed. I think it's literally called Slash Bar. I think that's literally the name of the bar, which is like, oh, I don't know. And here I have a little description of like what we can expect to see from that bar. As guests dare to enter the Slash Bar, they will be met by a ghoulish, stilt-walking Slash scare actor, fully adorned in his signature black curly locks and top hat. Inspired by a character created by Slash, this scare actor will taunt and torment guests in his path. Guests must be 21 plus and have a valid photo ID to purchase alcoholic beverages. So yes, you will be quite literally be greeted by a Slash scare actor to go up this bar. It's like Slash and John Murray have collabed like every single year ever since 2018, I believe, the year that the first Universal Monsters was around. Which, by the way, basically confirms that there's not going to be a Universal Monsters house anymore. John Murray himself said that like, yeah, like I think it's time we give the monsters a break, but who knows, maybe we might revisit this franchise again. Which I am glad they are like steeping away from, because as much as I love the Universal Monster houses, there's been like a noticeable like steep and like quality. It just went like down, 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 down. They're still a lot of fun because like, it's the Universal Monsters, but yeah, I don't know. I think the last couple have been like, you can tell like the creative team was kind of like fizzled out with like making Universal Monsters mazes. So I'm glad they stopped making them now and like give them some more time to like get over it. So like maybe one day when the Universal Monsters does come back to Hollywood, maybe they'll feel like rejuvenated again and feel excited to bring another Universal Monsters house again. But yeah, John Murray was probably like, oh no, no more Universal Monster mazes. How am I gonna keep Slash employed? Like I'll just have him like do the score for like one of our repeats. Yeah. Add that to the fact that Slash is gonna have his own bar and his own like stilt walker like greeting guests. Yeah, all I gotta say is this. The glaze is insane. And yeah, I think that's just about it for what we know so far regarding to Halloween Horror Nights. I believe we still have 3 houses left to announce, which is the rumored Poltergeist one, the rumored WWE one, and of course you have FNAF. That's already confirmed to be part of the event, but we still have yet to see from Universal themselves, like, yes, this is a haunted house, this is where it's going to be located, this is the details, yada yada yada. The more details to come soon that they're advertising, they still have yet to come. Who knows, maybe they'll finally reveal it for the next house announcement, or maybe they're just saving FNAF for last. I don't know if Universal's saving that for last in the announcement season. Maybe they'll announce WWE and then FNAF details. But like, why would you like wait until like almost the last minute, or like save like the arguably the biggest IP for last? I don't know. Like, this announcement season has been kind of strange. I think ever since they had the like Blumhouse convention in like Mexico or whatever, and like that employee had to like open his mouth. Like, I think that just kind of like fumbled with like the announcement season for this year. I don't know, man. I don't. Me personally, I have no idea what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to announcements. I don't think anybody does. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when it comes. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys like what you saw, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you want to see more Horror Nights content like this, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I have like a lot more videos coming right before the opening night for Horror Nights. Down in the comments, are you excited for Terrifier, and are you excited for Scarecrow coming back with the new Slash music? I have an Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, or X for all you nerds out there. Links to those social medias will be in my description. If you stuck around to the very end of the video, thank you so much for watching. And until then, see you all in the fog.